Time to re-up YouTube. Your boy Mustard is back with another episode of the season preview, and as you can see from the title and thumbnail, we got the Denver Nuggets coming in at number 4. Led by current back-to-back league MVP Nikola Jokic, the Nuggets have been one of the more intriguing and exciting teams in the NBA. And this season, after an entire year of not seeing Jamal Murray play basketball, he is returning to the team. Along with him, his teammate Michael Porter Jr. also coming back after only playing 9 games last year due to a back injury. Those two are seen as some of the best offensive players in the league that fit perfectly along a player in Nikola Jokic that is seen as one of the greatest offensive players of all time and now has the hardware to prove it. The only thing that's really missing on Nikola Jokic's resume and tenure with this team is a championship or at least a finals appearance. And in today's video, we present the question and my reasoning why, or maybe why not, I believe Nikola Jokic can lead this team to a championship with this roster. Despite last season being a pretty rough ending to an MVP year, Nikola Jokic has led the Nuggets to some of their more successful seasons in franchise history. We all know the year in 2020 where they were able to come back from back-to-back 3-1 deficits in the playoffs and make the Western Conference Finals, one of the greatest playoff runs of all time from a team effort standpoint. Jamal Murray was shooting lights out alongside Nikola Jokic. They led that team, and from then on, the expectations were sky high for them. Unfortunately though, injuries to MPJ and Jamal Murray derailed some of those plans, but now they are ready to go. And when I look at the roster around them, I truly do believe this is the best roster that they have had around their trio. Over the course of the Jokic era, offense has obviously never been the main issue. It's been on the defensive end. Jokic isn't a great rim protector, so you have to surround him with decent point of attack guys that can make his job as easy as possible. So surrounding him with guys like Facu is just a recipe for disaster. But credit to the Nuggets front office, they brought in players like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope and Bruce Brown, 2 point of attack defenders that are really solid. In the case of Bruce Brown, his main efforts come on the defensive side of the ball, and it's been that way for most of his career. And in the pick and roll, he's actually pretty effective. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying he's Rudy Gobert, but this guy got that floater game down pat for real. And in the case of KCP, he's giving you effort defensively, obviously, but offensively, he's also providing value that Bruce Brown isn't. He's a 3-and-D guard with the ability to guard multiple positions on the perimeter, and he can be used in a lot of lineups. He gives them great flexibility. Murray is probably going to be a little bit rusty, so for him to not defend the best guards on a night-to-night basis is going to be a plus for him, and having guys like KCP and Bruce Brown to take care of that responsibility definitely seems like the right way to go. Another guard on this team that they took in the draft last year is Bones Highland. Now Bones defensively is not going to give you the production that KCP will, but offensively that's a different story. Bones is not some elite shot creator, but the potential was shown last year in his rookie season. He's a really good spot up shooter though from behind the arc. In that game against the Warriors, I'll never forget, he was going berserk. He really gives me vibes of a spark plug kind of player off the bench that can give you quick and instant offense on a moment's notice, and I think the Nuggets are a perfect situation for him to do that. Zeke Naji is also another player that I wanted to highlight because his importance is probably going to go under the radar for a lot of people. Naji's a 6'9" power forward, but on a team like this that already has Aaron Gordon and desperately needs front court depth outside of him, I'm definitely interested to see if he's going to step up and rise to the occasion for them. But now that we've talked about a lot of their supporting pieces, let's talk about their core of Jamal Murray, MPJ, Nikola Jokic, and Aaron Gordon. Now some of you guys may be wondering, why did you say Aaron Gordon? He's not a part of that real core. Well, I beg to differ. By no means am I saying Aaron Gordon is a star player, because he isn't, but he is still very important towards this team's potential success. When you look across the league, much less the Western Conference as it is, you need great defense on your wing in order to win a championship, or at the bare minimum make the finals. Of course, perimeter defense is very important, but players like LeBron, Giannis, Kawhi Leonard, Luka, Devin Booker, you're gonna need some wings that can take them out the game, or at bare minimum slow them down just enough to give your team a chance. And in the case of Aaron Gordon, not only can he go out there and defend the wings, but he can defend some bigs also. He has very good lateral quickness for a player of his size, and due to his size and length, it gives him an advantage of defending the interior as well. I believe if AG puts his mind to it, he can be an All-NBA level defender next season, and maybe even a deep boy candidate. I truly do believe believe defensively he's even looked a lot worse than he could, because over the last year and a half he's had more responsibility offensively due to the injury of Jamal Murray and MPJ later on. AG is not a great shot creator, but offensively he still has value. He's effective in the pick and roll, primarily obviously as the roller. He's a good cutter off the ball. He's a nice lob threat, and even though he's not going to create his own shot consistently, he can put the ball on the floor and attack some mismatches at the power forward position due to his speed. He's not a consistent jump shooter, but he is capable of knocking down a perimeter shot here or there. But we all know his real role offensively is catch lobs, cut off the ball, and defensively he's going to have to play 110% obviously. He was forced to be the number 2 option for a majority of the season last year. Can you imagine that? Aaron Gordon of all people being your number 2 option, but now that they have Jamal Murray and MPJ back for him to play off of, he's not going to have to go out there and create his own shot. That's just not a practical situation for AG. And with less offensive responsibility, I'm expecting him to be more efficient as a scorer, and I'm expecting his productivity defensively to rise up as well. One guy that I want to see rise defensively is Michael Porter Jr., which brings me into the big 3 of the Nuggets. When it comes to MPJ, he embodies everything I love and hate about young players in this league. I love his game and what he brings to the table offensively as one of the best off-ball players in the league. He's a great cutter, spot-up shooter, can pull up off of screens, can catch lobs, he's athletic, and though he isn't a great shot creator because of his stiff back, he's still so great of an off-ball scorer that alongside a guy like Nikola Jokic, who's one of the best playmakers of all time, he can still average 20+ points per game while doing that every single night. But as far as what I hate about him, it's everything else. Literally everything else. Defensively, he really isn't that good, and on a team that has a player like Nikola Jokic, who also isn't a good defensive player getting major minutes, for MPJ to be a negative is just a big problem. And on top of that, they gave him a contract of $180 million over the next 5 seasons. That's insane for an injury-prone small forward that isn't consistent defensively, and what happens in the first season after you give him that extension? He gets hurt again. He walked in the league as a young 19-year-old with back problems, and now you're investing $180 million into him. That is insane nasty work, I ain't gonna lie. But hey, the guy has got potential, right? That's why we pay guys these days. The same thing with Tyler Hero, and hell, the same thing I'm seeing right now with Jordan Poole getting $140 million himself. And I'll save my thoughts for Jordan Poole when I get to the Warriors video, but as far as MPJ is concerned, I ain't gonna lie, he's a great offensive fit on this team, but defensively he's going to have to step it up, and hopefully he can stay healthy, because that's the biggest thing more than anything. But if he can do those things, which is definitely possible, I could see him hovering around all-star caliber play, which would make this Nuggets offense even more lethal. Another guy that helps make their offense lethal around Nikola Jokic is Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray is the co-star to Jokic, and the chemistry that they both have is astounding, for real. Murray is an effective off-ball player and effective with the ball in his hands as well. He can break guys down off the dribble, he has a quick first step, he can pull up from behind the arc whether he's creating on the perimeter or spotting up. He can finish at the rim and apply pressure there as well. He has some of the best finishes I have ever seen at the rim, whether he's booming on somebody or it's a nice acrobatic layup. Murray is a creative ball handler as well. He has some nice shifty moves on the perimeter. To put it in simple terms, the man is a bucket, and a bucket will always be a bucket. To me, that injury just slowed him down. He was playing great basketball before he went down with that injury. If you look at the last 25 games of the 2021 season for him, he averaged 24 points a game, around 5 assists and 4 rebounds, nearly 2 steals, 51% shooting from the field, 46% from 3 on 7 attempts, and 94% at the free throw line. Alongside Nikola Jokic, just based off of the chemistry that they have, they are a top 10 duo in this league. Murray may not be as good of a player as some other number 2 options like a Paul George or Anthony Davis is, but because he's such a versatile offensive player capable of playing on and off the ball, he can play make for others as well. He fits like a glove with Nikola Jokic, and I genuinely believe you could put anyone around those two and they'll still still be a top 5, at bare minimum top 10 offense in the NBA. And don't get it twisted to think that he's just an offensive guy, because defensively he steps up there as well. He's improved so much defensively, it's been a joy to watch it, honestly. I remember at Kentucky, defense wasn't a strong suit, and coming into the league it certainly wasn't either. But over the last year or so before he went down with this injury, the growth defensively was very noticeable. Murray is the perfect Robin to Nikola Jokic, and that leads me into the two-time MVP himself. I don't have to run down Jokic's skill set because most of you guys already know. To put into simple terms, he's arguably the best offensive player in the game today. The back-to-back MVPs are proof of it, his numbers are proof of it, and his playoff resume is proof of it. Now some of you guys may be saying, playoff resume? What are you talking about? Well, that leads me into the question I asked in the beginning. Can Nikola Jokic actually lead them to the NBA Finals? Because the criticism for Jokic has been his lack of playoff success outside of the bubble, as ever since then he was swept in 2021, and just this past year he was gentleman swept by the Golden State Warriors. And of course he didn't have his two co-stars by his side this past year, and the year before against the Suns he didn't have Jamal Murray, but it's very obvious the pattern with Nikola Jokic in the playoffs on the defensive side of the ball. He isn't very good. But the common rebuttal to that argument would be, look at the pieces around him that he had to work with. Players like Monte Morris, Bryn Forbes, Michael Porter Jr., Austin Rivers, they're not known for their defensive exploits. And losing Jeremy Grant was also a tough loss for this team's defense as well, as his efforts defensively were a key reason why they were able to make the Western Conference Finals in 2020. And this time with Aaron Gordon as the substitute for Jeremy Grant, new point of attack defenders like KCP and Bruce Brown, along with Jamal Murray coming back, who's also going to help you offensively, along with MPJ's return, and players like Bones Highland, who can be a spark plug off the bench. The excuses are really out the window for Nikola Jokic. It's time to see if he can finally get the job done. And I present that question to you guys. Do you believe that Nikola Jokic can lead them to the NBA Finals, and will he? Why or why not? Let me know down below in the comment section. Don't forget to like this video, share it with all your friends, and subscribe if you haven't, along with pressing that bell for post notifications. This is your boy Young Mustard signing out. You guys stay safe and have a blessed day. Peace.